Mm. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware Community Zoom this morning. My name is Mary Kegelman. I'm one of the religious science practitioners in our community, and I welcome all of you to our meditation time. This morning, we will also be doing some visioning after we settle into our meditation time. So if you prefer to write while you're visioning, you might want to have some paper and a pen ready, or you can type into the chat and we will be recording our vision for the Center for Spiritual Living community that way. So right now, let us all just settle into where we are in our chair and connecting into this moment right here and right now. Let's take 3 deep breaths. Letting go of all that has come before this precious moment in time. Breathing into this moment right here and right now. Feeling that connection with this moment. Maybe you need to get your body more comfortable by rolling your shoulders or by rotating your neck in one direction and the other. But just feeling the chair supporting you, feeling your connection with the energy of Mother Earth. Each breath is a gift. And this gift of life is present in all of its glory here today in this brand new baby day. Taking this time to sit in silence today in the stillness so that we can know, that we can listen to that still small voice within. With every breath, notice the expansion and the contraction of your diaphragm, breathing deeply. Maybe your hands are on your lap and you are connecting with your energy source, the Dantian, in your lower chakra. And just continue breathing and knowing that as we settle into the silence, we can focus our awareness in this precious present moment. And we can enhance our ability to listen and to hear. And as we do this, we're going to activate the wisdom of the heart, because visioning is not a mental process. I will be guiding you in centering your awareness in your heart. right now where love and intuition reside. It is in this space that you will find inspiration to set aside any preconceived ideas of what has come before and being open to the greater and higher vision of the life of our spiritual community. Our community is made up of a diverse group of loving, caring, inspired individuals, each of us being the light and love of the divine in the world today. We are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience, which we call life. And we can expand our awareness and grow into an ever greater consciousness of the divine. So let us just sit for a couple minutes in silence and open our hearts to the sacred inquiry, the sacred activity of knowing who I am, whose I am, and what is God's highest idea of the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware in 2021 as we move forward. As we go deeply into the awareness, we are now ready for sacred inquiry. What is God's highest idea of the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware? What greatness is seeking to express in and as our community? Continue in this silence, allowing the insights and revelations to flow. What is the highest vision of CSL Delaware? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? The power of the visioning process lies in what we are willing to release and become. Each of us empowers this manifestation of the vision by becoming a vibrational match for the blessings, creativity, gifts, talents, abilities, and potential seeking to come forth from within each of us and collectively as our spiritual community. And this vision seeks to be expressed in each of our lives. And so we ask ourselves, what must I become for this vision to fulfill itself? Welcome now a direct knowing of how you must change, evolve, or grow in order to be an open space. So this vision can express in, as, and through your life and the life of our community. What must I become? What must I embrace? Let us ask ourselves, what must I release or heal or surrender? For it is by releasing old ideas, false beliefs about life, that we welcome insights about how to be open for the highest vision, for life to emerge as our spiritual community, CSL Delaware. The third question in aligning with the vision, is there anything else I am to embrace in this moment? Recognizing that there may be further information beyond what has already come into your awareness. Take some time for additional insights and clarity now. Refrain from analyzing or editing what or how the vision comes to you. Do not judge what is happening or not happening. Approach visioning with the willingness to go beyond your current understanding with an open and receptive heart, knowing you are doing it right. Just trust the process. In this silence, let us inwardly say yes to the highest vision for the life of our community. Our purpose here is to embody the willingness to manifest, the willingness that is necessary to manifest. I am so grateful for all that has come up, for each one participating in this, allowing time to reflect on this, whether you choose to type it into the chat room or maybe you'll send it later in an email to Reverend Kathleen or myself. For the life of this community is pulled by a vision, the vision to be the presence of love and to co-create heaven on earth, the state of consciousness, of love intelligence, expressing in, as, and through each of us. Allowing each one now time to release anything that has come up that needs to be released. And embracing embracing all of the goodness, all of the goodness that is welling up in the visioning as we move forward. As CSL Delaware. We activate this vision of the highest and best as our Center for Spiritual Living Delaware is moving forward, as we practice daily affirmative prayer, intention setting, affirming the good and the just, and the compassion and the love and the harmony. In this moment, let us just anchor our willingness for the growth of our community, which involves the growth of each one of us. And that we are willing, our open hearts are willing to embrace the way for this vision to fulfill itself. Our willingness allows Spirit to take hold of this vision and to bring this highest and best for all involved into manifestation. Together, let us know that we are the channels, that we are here to embrace what is good, and more good that is transpiring in our beloved community. That each one of us are doing our part, and each one of us are the beacons of light that attract others to want to participate, to want to be part of this ever-growing, ever-expanding consciousness of perfect love and harmony. And so, with great gratitude, I cast this vision into the universal divine mind, knowing it is so. And together let us say, yes, and so it is. Thank you all so much. Our service will be starting momentarily.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware. This is one of our last services for 2020. It's been a year that we've all grown through and expanded our hearts through. And so we welcome you here to this service this morning. And I'm Deb Chamberlain. I'll be playing the music for you. So the theme of this time of the year is it's the season of light. And before the light is a period of holy darkness where we do a lot of contemplation. So as I play our opening song, I'd love for you to just sit in your stillness of your own heart and contemplate the holy darkness in you that's waiting, reaching for the light. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our holy birth. Long lay the world in the darkness pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices. Yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break for our sisters and our brothers, and in his name all oppression shall cease. A thrill of hope as the weary world rejoices. Yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when the Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night, oh, night divine. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Center for Spiritual Living, Delaware. I'd love to bring back Mary.
Thank you so much, Deb, for that beautiful rendition. Oh, welcome, welcome to this celebration today, celebrating the divine truth that each of us is the light. So let us just center in a moment of prayer right now. Breathing in, knowing there is only one life, one source of all that is. And we call that source God, the divine love intelligence. And that wholeness, that fullness of God, that oneness of God includes all of creation. And that includes me. And that includes each one of us. That includes all of life. Those who are aware of this truth of oneness, and those who are partaking of this oneness in their unconsciousness, but knowing that our light shines brightly. For as we are called this day to celebrate the gift of life, we cannot help but overflow that light and that love and that joy and that peace, which God is, which is the essence of who each of us is, into this world, into the darkness. Just as the light of the sun is reflected on each of the brilliant stars and planets in the universe, that we can see them more clearly in these longer nights and these evenings of darkness, where we can see the brilliance and the beauty of that in our hemisphere. I'm just breathing in the light and the life, and knowing that I can exhale all the gifts of spirit. And so grateful for all of us today coming together in celebration of life for this beautiful service unfolding perfectly. We are so blessed, and I bless each one here, and I bless each one who comes to hearing this, whether right now or in the future on Zoom or through Facebook. Thank you for participating. And I bless this, bless each one of us, and let it be, and so it is. And I would like to turn this over now to dear Reverend Kathleen Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Kathleen Johnson. I'm the spiritual director of Center for Spiritual Living Delaware, and I personally welcome you to our beloved spiritual community on this glorious snowy day. And I would like to invite you now to engage in a high invocation together. So I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. I am that I am.
I am that I am.
Beloved God presence, I am.
Beloved God presence, I
is
am.
moving through me and as me.
Moving through me and as
I
me.
invoke the divine presence.
I invoke the divine presence.
To fill every cell of my body with
To
light.
fill every cell of my body with light.
To surround me with a pillar of light.
To surround me with a pillar of light.
To fill all of my affairs with light.
To fill all of my affairs with light.
I allow pure light and love of the divine
I allow the pure light and love of the divine
to flow from me and move
to
me
flow from me and move me.
to be of highest service to all life.
To be of highest service
I-
to all life.
I joyfully bring love and light
I joyfully bring love and light
to all who enter my awareness,
to all who enter my awareness,
knowing my light contributes
knowing that my light contributes
to the enlightenment of all.
to the enlightenment of all.
So let's affirm that with a powerful yes. And so it is. Wonderful. So I now would like to introduce to you Ami. Hi, Ami. Good morning, Dr. Ami.
Morning, everybody. Thank you, Reverend. Waiting for the slides to come up.
Dan?
So let us begin with the CSL Delaware intention statement. We, the Center for Spiritual Living Delaware, are a welcoming, vibrant, inclusive spiritual community rooted in New Thought, ancient wisdom principles. We are here to be the presence of love and to co-create heaven on earth, a world that works for all. December 21st is the winter solstice. It is also the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, known as the Christmas star, a phenomenon that has not taken place since 1226, almost 800 years ago. Everyone is encouraged to join us as we celebrate this epic, energetic shift of the planet with the sunrise ceremony via Zoom and a sunset outdoor gathering. A sunrise winter solstice ceremony will be led by Mary and Reverend via Zoom. It includes chanting from 5 to 6 a.m. and a guided meditation and journaling from 6 to 7 a.m. Bring a candle and journal and sign on to Zoom by 4:45 a.m. A sunset winter solstice Christmas star gathering. Join us at 4 p.m. as we view the Christmas star on the horizon at sunset. Bring your own refreshments, drums, or percussion instruments if you have them, and lawn chair. Wear your mask and enjoy great conversation around a bonfire. There will be 2 gatherings taking place simultaneously, one in Wilmington, Delaware, and one in Landenberg, PA. Sign up for the location of your choice by email with Reverend Kathleen. And you can pick up your gift ornaments at one of the 4 p.m. outdoor winter solstice gathering. This month, the Social Justice Initiative Ministry has hosted visioning sessions to help those interested in being an active advocate for social justice and peace, but aren't quite sure where to start. Our final visioning session will be next Sunday during the Social Justice Initiative Ministry's December Lunch and Learn at 12 p.m. And World Healing Meditation Candlelight Service is on December 31st, 2020 at 6 a.m. on Zoom. Join us to make a collective difference as millions around the world at the same moment say the same prayer for peace. Bring breakfast and a candle. Starting January 4th, 2021, Deb Chamberlain's The Awakened Artist Soul Tuning course runs for 6 Mondays, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. via Zoom. Through a practical approach to living the mystical laws of creation, expand your impact as love and compassion in the world. A $222 tuition includes 6 class recordings, course materials, coaching from Deb between sessions, and private Facebook group. Want to know more? Join Deb for a free live course intro on Zoom December 29th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. And now I invite Deb to share with us about this program.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to make this quick, but I really encourage you to come to my free intro a week from Tuesday night on Zoom, just for an hour, and I'll take you through a quick version of what I'll be doing in the course with you live on Zoom for 6 Monday nights starting in January. And here's my intention. This is my passion that I commit the rest of my life to, is really helping people embody these creative laws of the universe. Artists know them intuitively. but we also can use them to create the masterpiece of our lives. So whether it's our relationships, our self-expression, our lives, our health, our world, I really am trying to empower people to embody these principles. We all know them, you know, from hearing about them and practicing them, but this takes it to a really deep, deep level in this work. It's a very intense kind of deep dive. And I call it the soul tuning course because I believe that we are all soul beings, and it's about tuning ourselves in all dimensions to the unique frequency of our own soul and being these tuning forks in the world as we go about our lives, creating our lives. We're either creating our lives consciously or unconsciously, so I'm all about the consciously awakening part. So I please invite you to mark your calendar. I will be recording it, and I'll make the recording available somehow, but I would love you to be there live so you can ask questions. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Deb, for sharing that. And for details and Zoom links on all of these and other activities, check out the CSL Delaware website under the Get Involved tab or the CSL Delaware newsletter in your email. And now I'd like to reintroduce Deb and listen to some beautiful music.
Thank you, Ami. Dr. Ami. I love that. Yay! So, this is a beautiful song by Ricky Byers and Michael Beckwith called Radiant Light of God. So I hope you'll sing along with me. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. When I stumble, I live by the light of my faith, shining both night and day, shining both night and day. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of peace. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of peace. When I see your face, I see God's light guiding you on your way, guiding you on your way. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of beauty. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of beauty with conviction so sound. I know that now is the time to pray. Now is the time to pray. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of wisdom. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of wisdom and freedom. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of freedom. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of freedom. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of healing. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of healing. prosperity. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of prosperity and love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love, and you are a radiant light of God. You shine the light of love. We shine the light of love. I shine the light of love. Radiant light. Oh, yay! Speaking of radiant light, I would love to bring to you Jenny.
Thank you, Deb. Oh, that was so beautiful. Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living Delaware, beloved community and friends of and as the light that you all are, and welcome any visitors today or in the future listening to this message. The theme for December is celebrating divine truth, and the topic for today is cultivating light. According to Ernest Holmes in the 1938 edition of The Science of Mind, page 430.2, "Ye are the light of the world. Man is the candle of the Lord." How important then that this light be kept trimmed and burning with the oil of pure spirit through the wick of peace and joy. In this way do we glorify that indwelling presence. In the words of Eckhart Tolle, there is only one perpetrator of evil on the planet: human unconsciousness. With this realization, your victim identity dissolves and your true power emerges. Instead of blaming the darkness, you bring in the light. And according to the Dalai Lama, inner darkness, which we call ignorance, is the root of suffering. The more inner light that comes, the more darkness will diminish. This is the only way to achieve salvation or nirvana. Please say with me with joy, I joyously walk in the light. My consciousness is illumined. I let my light shine. And now, speaking of shining and illumination, I now welcome Dr. Reverend Kathleen Johnson, a true source of light and love in the world.
Thank you, Jenny. That was beautiful. Cultivating light. I love this topic, and you can see because it's in our opening big invocation that we do each Sunday now, because this is one of the most powerful keys to our spiritual path. Let's go back to the very beginning. In the beginning, God. And there was a void. You know, this is the darkness, the great darkness. And out of that void came the light, the big bang that took place, right? And God called the light day and the darkness night. And so we have these two aspects of our experience, darkness and light. And over time, what has happened is that it has come to take on a deeper meaning that guides us on our spiritual path. So the light, this thing called the light, is something that is celebrated this time of year. And think about it, tomorrow night, winter solstice is the darkest, you could say the darkest time of the year, the shortest daylight and the darkest and the longest night. And since ancient times, the people of the planet, the ancient peoples, gathered around bonfires, and they drummed and they danced and they sang through the night, celebrating this thing called the winter solstice, bringing the light to the darkness, bringing the light to the darkness. And then when the day came, the next day came, they give thanks and celebrated the sunshine, the sunlight, which of course was important to their livelihood and still to this day is extremely important to life on this planet. Over time, humanity began to see a symbolic nature to this thing called dark and light, darkness being equated with ignorance and light with enlightenment. And as it turns out, the mystics knew this, I know, and I want to take a moment actually and honor all of the mystics across the planet and all the mystics that came before us, the great spiritual masters, the great enlightened ones who uplift us and who on whose shoulders we stand as we explore this thing called light, because they knew what scientists are now discovering, that everything is made out of light. Everything in the physical world is made out of light. These body temples that we live in, the all that's surrounds us is our light waves that are collapsed into particles, right? But it's still light. It's just a form of light. So with that idea in mind, think of all of the symbols of light that we have this time of year. Candles, strings of light decorating our homes and our businesses, bonfires, gathering around bonfires like the ancient people did, right? All of these things remind us and take us back to the awareness of our source and of our very being, which is light. So light, while darkness stands for illumination in the mystical sense, light represents illumination, our alignment with the light and the truth that we are. So Christmas, Hanukkah, Diwali, Kwanzaa, Bodhi Day, Yalda, winter solstice, all of these celebrations use these light representations, candles, strings of light, bonfires, as reminders of who we are in truth, of what God or life is in truth. And it's a reminder for us then to wake up to that and to radiate what that represents: love, peace, joy, beauty, prosperity, all of the things that we just sang about in the radiant light of God. I shine the light. It's a reminder for us to shine the light of who we are in truth and be a beneficial presence on the planet. So today is dedicated to cultivating that light, because we are full participants in creation. We can consciously cultivate the light that we are. And of course, as we cultivate our own light, we then extend that light automatically, because of our interconnection with all life, to the rest of the planet. And let us also remember that high levels of consciousness, which are represented by light, are greatly counterbalance, exponentially counterbalance the rest of the consciousness on the planet, those who have not, those who live in what we would call a state of darkness in their consciousness, an ignorance of their truth, an ignorance of what it means to be the light and to be the presence of the divine on the planet. And you know, our dedication to this path of light, this path of enlightenment, is what our teaching is all about. And it is a reminder that as we walk this path, our lives eventually, if not immediately, become more full of peace, more full of joy, more full of love, a greater perspective on the things that are going on in the world. And even as we grow in enlightenment, all of those things that are unhealed will come forth into our experience so that we can heal them and up-level ourselves as the presence of light. The Dalai Lama, I love that quote by the Dalai Lama, because his reminder is that inner darkness or ignorance of the truth is the root of all suffering. And therefore, what we do is we bring the light to the darkness. We don't fight the darkness. We bring the light to it, and the light diminishes, and the darkness diminishes, the light takes over. He said, this is the only way to achieve salvation or nirvana. So I'd like to begin with a story. It's a story of a father who wanted to decide which of his 3 children would receive his inheritance. So he gave them a challenge. He said, whoever fills a warehouse, he gave them 3 different warehouses, whoever fills your warehouse in the most inexpensive manner will get the inheritance. So the eldest filled his with bags of sand, which were, fairly inexpensive. But then the second son came along, and he decided to fill it with those styrofoam peanuts. And so, that was a little less expensive. And then came along the third son. And this particular son took a candle, placed it in the center of the warehouse, and lit the candle, which of course filled up the entire warehouse. So of course he got the inheritance. But what a beautiful reminder of what it means to fill up a room with light. And you know who they are, the people who fill up the room with light when they enter the room, yes? And even when there are challenges in their lives, they respond with grace and perspective that comes from this place of love and compassion and a willingness to see things from a different perspective, a willingness to return to that present moment awareness as that presence of love. So we have people in our community like that. And I also think of the great masters, spiritual masters like Gandhi and Maya Angelou and Mother Teresa and Jesus and all the many saints and sages and wise men and women in all of the various spiritual traditions, the exalted ones, who respond to hate and fear with love and forgiveness. They are true beacons of light that inspire the world. So cultivating the light. We have great role models for the light. Cultivating the light, it begins with that beautiful quote from the Bible, ye are the light of the world, meaning you are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. You and I are the light of the world. We are light beings, as I had mentioned before. We know that science has demonstrated that. We know that we actually emit photons. That's been measured by scientists. So we can either be a flickering flame or we can be a bonfire. You know, we have a choice. And so that light, though, is already there, ready for us to cultivate and nourish into a brighter, stronger, more brilliant flame. So those of us who seem to be lighter and happier and to have reached higher, more exalted levels of consciousness, understand this idea of oneness, connection to the universal field, an understanding that we are connected, interconnected. The entire world is interconnected, and to see that from a very thoughtful and loving perspective. Just recently, Dan and I were watching something on PBS, I believe, or Nova, maybe it was Nova, about the all of the theories of quantum physics and this idea of quantum entanglement, which beautifully describes our interconnection with all life, and the idea of non-locality, the idea that the universe is present in its fullness in every spot, which is what the great mystics have taught, and that's what we teach in our teachings. The divine is present in its fullness right here where I am, right where each of us is. Its center is everywhere. Its circumference is nowhere. So contrast this idea of awareness of interconnection being the presence of love and light with knee-jerk reactions of anger, fearfulness, and defensiveness that is the pattern of so many who operate from the conditioned mind, from inner darkness, in other words. We call that inner darkness. It's the conditioned mind. Eckhart Tolle said, instead of blaming the darkness, bring the light. Instead of blaming the darkness, bring the light. And so it reminds me of the Course in Miracles, that everything that's before us, every interaction, is love or a call for love. So the call for love, that knee-jerk reaction of others, is a call for us to bring love and forgiveness. So made in the likeness and image of the one creator, we are all co-creators. We know that. We practice that in a beautiful form of prayer that we call spiritual mind treatment. Because we have this amazing inner capacity. We have the whole entire field of all possibility and all potentiality. And yet it is this inner capacity to speak the truth, use the power of our word and our thought, and to know the truth that erases the darkness of negative thought, the conditioned mind. That's the beauty of our form of prayer, is that's what it does. It actually erases, over practice and over time, erases the negative thinking that's wired into our neurobiology, erasing it, eliminating it. And again, it's a reminder that we don't fight the darkness. We know the truth. We know the truth. And the darkness disappears. St. John wrote, "The light shines in darkness, and darkness does not overcome it." It's a good thing to remember. So we need not fear the darkness when we remember that we just simply bring the light. As our inner light builds and strengthens with our spiritual practice, we become that light that is a rippling effect that goes across the planet. And in our own worlds, we can actually experience that. So I'd like to illustrate with this story. It's a story of a young girl who was on a city bus crowded with Christmas shoppers. And because everyone was in an exhausted daze, no one noticed that there was a seat or two available on the bus. No one except for that small 5 or 6-year-old girl who tugged at a woman's sleeve and asked, "Would you like a seat?" And then she quietly guided the woman to the empty seat, giving her a chance to get off of her feet and put her bags down and rest. And as each seat became available after each stop when people got off, she would quickly move through the crowd again and search for some burdened person and guide them again to a seat that was available. This little emissary of love, whose eyes sparkled and whose smile shined, immediately turned to the next person and the next person and the next person, helping them find a seat on the bus. And something really interesting began to happen. The people on the bus who previously had been avoiding each other's eyes, avoiding eye contact, were now beginning to smile as they noticed what was going on. A businessman handed part of his paper to someone else to read. People began to have exchanges of conversation with each other. And that little girl then had tangibly changed the entire environment of the bus. Everyone fell into this beautiful, relaxed state. We call it the relaxation response, right? Feeling warm and full of love in this holiday season. And everyone began to actually enjoy the rest of their bus trip. The passengers practically, if you can imagine, floated off the bus, wishing the driver happy holiday and waving to each other as they departed. And also noticing the beauty of the Christmas lights, something that they had not really done since they were 5 or 6 years old. So they began to take on that wonder and that awe of the child's mind, what's called the beginner's mind in Buddhist tradition. And it is written that a little child shall lead them. I want to take a moment and honor the birth of a great spiritual master, probably the greatest of all time, Jesus the Christ, that comes at this time of year when we celebrate his birth, knowing that the example of this great one has led us on this path of enlightenment that we follow by changing our thinking, changing our beliefs, and aligning ourselves with truth. So it's important then to find ways to be of service, to be a tangible spreader of the light. We can look to this child who can light up a room with acts of kindness. And the thing about kindness is it's been proven, I love these scientific things, that just not only the giver of kindness and the receiver of kindness benefit and their vibration goes up. In other words, their light is brighter. But those who observe also are lifted in frequency and in light. So everybody benefits. That's that interconnectedness. It's called the mirror effect, but we know it's the interconnectedness of all light. Joy and laughter also cultivates the light. Joy to me is the most important cultivator of my personal inner light. You know how I love to laugh. I think it really turns me and turns all of us into inner bonfires, right? When we are laughing with abandon, we just fill up the room with our laughter and our joy. You know, in our culture, there's a tendency to rush around, get caught up in our daily activities, and forget to give ourselves time for enjoyment, time to laugh, time to do something that we love. So I'm going to invite everybody to consciously this week find more time for yourself. to laugh, and to do what you love and enjoy. I was looking, I know the Dalai Lama is known for his laughter, and I found a really beautiful quote by him. It says, "I laugh often. My laughter is contagious." He knows it. He says, "I am a professional laugher." Well, that's what I'm claiming for myself. I am a professional laugher.
I'm pretty good at it.
So this reminds me of a beautiful story. I'd like to end with this lovely, lovely story. It's a story about a little boy who was given the part of the innkeeper in a Christmas pageant. Standing in front of the mirror, he practiced his line. "There is no room at the inn." He did it over and over and over. "There is no room at the inn. There is no room at the inn. There's no room at the inn." So that night at the pageant, he was finally backstage, ready to come on. He got behind the cardboard that had the little door in it that represented the inn, ready to do his one-liner. And the children who were dressed as Mary and Joseph came up and knocked on the cardboard door. He flung the door open, and Joseph, of course, said, "Is there any room in your inn?" To which he said, "Sure, come on in." You know, when we are so full of light, we cannot help ourselves but want to help another person, like this little boy who was the innkeeper. And it feels so good to laugh, doesn't it? I mean, I feel myself filled with God bumps, and I know joy is truly. So the next time you see a light of any kind, whether it's the sunlight, the light from your lamp, the Christmas lights, the Hanukkah lights, the Diwali lights, whatever lights there are, I know all of these different spiritual traditions use them. I'm going to invite you to remember what they represent, the light that is within us, and then do all that is in your power to spread the light. Namaste, my friends. And so it is. Amen. Oh, and I'm going to introduce to you now Deb. Hey, Deb.
Thank you, Reverend Kathleen. Wow. Got me a little choked up for a little bit of that. Beautiful. This is a song I wrote in January of this year called Illuminate. Still your mind, dry your tears. I heard the angels whisper in my ear. Open your eyes. You don't have to be afraid. You are here to walk in faith. So I pray, pour your light through me. This mystic soul needs your light to see. As I bathe in your mystery, I feel my spirit rise. Your light moves my feet, pulls me toward my highest destiny. You make it simple to believe the glory in my eyes. Darkness looms for those who fear the truth, but my eyes only see the way to you. That way is love, and I have seen her face. Now I am here go and pour your light through me. This mystic soul needs your light to see. As I bathe in your mystery, I feel my spirits rise. Your light moves my feet, pulls me toward my highest destiny. You make it simple to believe. The glory in my eyes illuminate my mind, ruminate my joy, eliminate my doubt. As your light fills the void, as you pour your light through me, for all of humanity, as we bathe in your majesty, we feel our spirits rise. Your light moves our feet, pulls us toward our highest destiny. You make it simple to believe. The glory in our eyes illuminate my mind, illuminate my life, illuminate the world. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Let's be the light. I love the joy challenge this week. I'm going to do that. I'd love to bring back Dr. Ami.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Reverend Kathleen. This next part makes it so easy to say because that was just a lovely service taking us into Christmas, the true meaning of Christmas. I'm just so lit up. Thank you. And so let us place our hands on our hearts and give thanks for the spiritual food we are receiving from the service today, and bless our offerings to CSL Delaware with love. You may send your tithes and offerings by PayPal on our website homepage, or you may send CSL Delaware a check. We all appreciate your loving support. Want to make a difference? Contribute to the CSL Delaware Benevolence Fund to support our members who are financially challenged during this time of COVID-19. 6 individuals have already been blessed by this fund. Mark your donation, benevolent fund. To receive financial support from this fund, contact any member of the Board of Trustees. If you want after service prayers, please write prayer in the chat and Michelle will put you in a breakout room with Mary. You can also send your prayer requests by phone or email to Peggy Frymoyer, and the practitioners will pray for you for 1 week. And now I'd like to reintroduce Deb.
Thank you so much. Well, let's complete today's time together with this song about joy. And this is the New Thought version, so each of the 5 verses corresponds to each of the 5 steps of the mind treatment, spiritual mind treatment. So as we sing this, as you sing it there, allow joy to permeate you, the universal and the personal joy. Here we go. Joy to the world, there's only one presence, one power, one life. Let every heart embrace this truth. God lives in everything, God lives in everything. God lives in everything. reveals the Christ in me, reveals the Christ in me, reveals the Christ in me. God is the source of endless good. I conceive, believe, and achieve. And as I sow, so shall I reap the wonders of God's love, the wonders of God's love, the wonders of God's love. Thanks be to God for all my good, and good for all the earth. For now we live as one, united by God's love. I'm grateful that you heard and responded to my word. I am grateful, so grateful, my word is heard. Joy to the world, I now release these words into the law. I release and I let go, and know that it is so. The truth has set me free, the truth has set me free. The truth has set me free. The truth has set me free. I love you all. Many, many, many blessings this week as we go through this beautiful holiday together. And I will see you next Sunday, and I'll be thinking about you all week. And I'd love to bring back now Reverend Kathleen.
Thank you, Deb. And thank you, Dr. Ami and Jenny and Mary. Wow. That was a wonderful service. I enjoyed every minute of it. And I too am wishing all of you the very best of the holidays, the winter solstice. And I truly hope you join us tomorrow morning. Join Marianne tomorrow morning on Zoom, and those of us who are going to be venturing out and witnessing this big event, the Christmas star, tomorrow evening. So I hope you all join us. And let's turn within in our final prayer together. And repeat after me. Perfect God within me.
Perfect God within me.
Perfect life within me, which is God.
Perfect life within me, which is God.
Perfect light within me, which is God.
Perfect light within me, which is God.
Come forth into expression through me.
Come forth into expression through me.
As that which I am.
As that which I am.
Lead me ever on the path of all-inclusive love and light.
Lead me ever on the path of all-inclusive love and light.
And cause me to see.
And cause me to see
the infinite good.
the infinite good.
And so let us burst into beautiful bonfires of light as we all say together with joy, yes! And so it is. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful week.
All right. So everybody just do a final wave. Final wave. Goodbye to everybody.